This creature is more dangerous than any snake, and it was filmed. This footage was recorded deep in the jungle, and what appears on camera turned out to be far more dangerous than any snake researchers expected. Today, we're counting down the most disturbing encounters involving creatures that prove to be more dangerous than any snake, ranked from the least unsettling to the one that completely changed what experts thought they understood. Are you ready? Let's begin. Number 20. Specimen 9X. The footage was recorded inside what is described as the Black Ridge Containment Facility in Nevada. A man films through reinforced glass, focusing on a figure labeled only as 9X. The specimen stands motionless. It does not blink. It does not breathe loudly. It simply waits. Wet fur clings tightly to its frame, as if it had just been pulled from a deep holding tank. The overhead lights reflect off the glass, but the barrier feels thinner than it should. There are no visible warning signs, no labels, only concrete walls and industrial lighting. The figure doesn't approach. It doesn't react visibly. Yet something about its posture suggests awareness. The camera remains steady for several seconds before the clip cuts. Whatever was behind that glass appeared to know it was being watched. Number 19. The Thing in the Net. The footage was recorded by fishermen who had just hauled in their catch from deep water. At first, it appears they've pulled up something heavy, something tangled in the net. Then the panic begins. From within the mesh, a figure with distorted, almost humanoid features thrashes violently across the deck. Its movements are erratic, aggressive, far from anything the crew expected to find in open water. The body twists and snaps, jaws clamping down as the fishermen shout and try to push it back. The deck becomes chaotic. The camera shakes. Someone drops equipment while others attempt to restrain the creature. It doesn't resemble a known fish. It doesn't behave like one either. For a few seconds, the crew struggles against something that seems to react with deliberate force, not blind panic. Then the clip ends abruptly mid-scream. What was pulled from that net was never clearly identified. Number 18. The Rat in the Woods. The footage was recorded at night in a wooded area with no clear context. A man stands in the darkness holding what appears to be an unusually large rat in both arms. The animal struggles against his grip. Its body looks oversized, heavy, and restless. Beside him stand two small figures with disproportionately large heads and pointed ears. They remain close, watching. No explanation is given, no voices clarify what is happening. Suddenly, the rat breaks free. It drops to the ground and runs into the forest. The man reacts immediately, chasing after it. The two small figures follow, moving quickly through the trees. The camera shakes as the scene becomes chaotic. There is no visible setup, no clear purpose. The clip ends with all three figures disappearing into the darkness. What exactly was unfolding in that forest remains unclear and deeply unsettling. Number 17. The Sauropod in the river. And the footage was recorded from behind thick bushes along a muddy jungle river. The camera remains partially concealed, focusing on something massive moving through the water. At first, only a dark curved surface is visible above the current. Then the full outline becomes clearer. The creature appears enormous, with a long neck, a heavy torso, and a thick tail partially submerged. Its shape closely resembles a sauropod dinosaur, similar to a Brachiosaurus or Diplodocus, known for their towering bodies and elongated frames. It moves slowly, steadily, displacing large amounts of water as it shifts its weight. There is no visible panic, no sudden movement, just a silent, deliberate presence in the river. The person filming does not approach. The camera stays hidden behind vegetation, capturing only a few seconds before the clip ends. No official source has identified what was recorded. What appeared in that river has never been verified. Number 16. The River Capture. The footage was recorded along a shallow riverbank, where several people appear to have restrained a large creature in the water. The camera focuses on its body as it lies partially submerged among rocks and mud. Its skin looks dark, thick, and textured, almost armored. The head is elongated, with a wide jaw lined with visible teeth. Its body resembles that of a large reptile, but certain proportions seem unusual. The creature does not thrash wildly in the clip. It It remains low in the water, mouth slightly open, as if exhausted or weakened. Water ripples around it, while the people nearby keep their distance. The clip ends before revealing what happened next. What exactly was pulled from that river remains unclear. Number 15. The cage that faced inward. The footage was recorded at night, focusing on a metal cage positioned in what appears to be an isolated outdoor area. The chain-link fencing fills most of the frame, illuminated by a single light source. At first, nothing seems unusual. Just a fence structure, reinforced, secured. Then the camera shifts slightly. Inside the enclosure, deep in the shadows, a faint pair of reflective eyes becomes visible. The figure behind the fence is difficult to distinguish. Upright, still, partially obscured by darkness. No movement, no sound. What stands out isn't what's inside, but the way the cage is built. The reinforcement appears positioned, as if meant to keep something from getting in, rather than out. The camera does not approach. It lingers, then cuts. No explanation is provided. No identification is made. Only a cage, and something waiting behind it. Number 14. The shape in the night water. The footage was recorded at night by a group of tourists traveling by boat. The sea is dark, almost still, illuminated only by the boat's light. In the distance, something pale becomes visible at the surface. At first, it looks like fabric floating in the water. Then the shape shifts. A slender upper body appears above the surface, arms extended outward. The figure seems upright for a moment, partially submerged, its lower half obscured by the darkness. The movement is slow and controlled, not splashing, not frantic. The tourists can be heard reacting in disbelief, their voices low and uncertain. The camera struggles to focus in the dark as the pale figure drifts slightly with the current. There is no clear tail visible, no clear explanation either. After a few seconds, the shape lowers back into the water and disappears beneath the surface. What surfaced that night was never confirmed. Number 13. The shark in the abyss. The footage was recorded by a deep-sea camera positioned near the hull of a shipwreck, resting at approximately 1,600 meters below the surface. The wreck has been submerged for over a century. Through the darkness, a massive shape glides past the frame. The body appears longer and more robust than most modern sharks. 6 visible gill slits line its sides. Its skin looks heavily textured, almost armored, reflecting the camera's light in uneven patterns. The head is broad and blunt. As it turns slightly, rows of triangular, serrated teeth become visible, reminiscent of prehistoric fossil specimens. The shark moves slowly, without aggression, without sudden motion. No debris is disturbed. No other marine life appears nearby. It passes the wreck silently and disappears back into the black water. The footage offers no identification, only a glimpse of something moving through depths rarely observed. What swam past that century-old ship has yet to be officially explained. Number 12. The figure on the rocks. The footage was recorded along a rocky shoreline under overcast skies. Waves crash behind a solitary figure crouched low against the stone. At first glance, it appears to be a man. Long hair hangs over his face as he leans forward, gripping something in his hands. As the camera zooms in, it becomes clear he is feeding on a fish, tearing into it, while seated on the wet rocks. His posture is tense, almost animalistic. He does not look toward the water. He does not look toward the camera. He remains focused on the raw catch in his hands. The wind howls. The sea moves violently behind him. There is no visible equipment, no fishing rod, no explanation for how he caught it. The clip ends with the figure still crouched there, unmoving except for the deliberate motion of eating. What was happening on that shoreline remains uncertain. Number 11. The pier at Vaporia. The footage was recorded near the abandoned pier of Vaporia, on the island of Syros in Greece. Local fishermen had gone out at night after weeks of unusual reports. Dead fish washing ashore and strange disturbances in the water. From a small boat, one of them shines a flashlight beneath the rusted structure. There, partially submerged between the columns, sits a figure. Its upper body appears humanoid. Thin arms, pale skin, and dark circular marks that pulse faintly. Below the waist, an enormous flattened tail extends into the water, shaped more like that of a large ray than any known fish. The figure doesn't move at first. It seems to be listening. When a phone camera is activated, the head turns slightly. One opaque eye catches the light. No aggression, no retreat. The tail shifts heavily, striking the water with a dull sound. Moments later, large bubbles rise, not from the open sea, but from between the submerged pillars. The fishermen leave. Later, the saved file shows only a black screen. Number 10. The cave exit. The footage was recorded in a wooded area where a small stone-lined cave opens beneath dense vegetation. The camera remains steady, focused on the dark entrance. From within the shadowed opening, a small figure slowly becomes visible. At first, it appears hunched, partially obscured by the darkness. As it steps forward, its proportions seem unusual, shorter than an adult human, with elongated limbs and a narrow frame. The figure pauses at the edge of the cave, just where sunlight begins to reach the ground. Its posture is low, cautious. No clear facial details are visible from the distance, only a pale surface catching the light. It does not wave, it does not speak. It simply stands there for a moment. Then, without sudden movement, it retreats back into the cave's darkness. The clip ends before anyone approaches. What emerged from that opening was never officially identified. Number 9. The wings on the dirt road. The footage was recorded along a rural road in Flatwoods County, West Virginia. A couple driving home at night stopped after noticing a pair of reflective eyes in the middle of the dirt path. They stepped out with a flashlight. Standing ahead of them was a tall figure, over 2.5 meters in height. Its body appeared lean and fibrous, dark green in tone, upright and still. Large, membranous wings extended from its back, shifting slightly in the night air. Its face seemed angular, with an elongated, beak-like structure and glowing amber eyes. It did not charge. It did not scream. It took a single step forward and slowly extended its arms. The phone screen flickered and shut off. A low hum filled the air, though its source was unclear. Birds lifted from the nearby trees. Moments later, the figure lowered its wings and walked back into the darkness. The dash camera later showed repeated system resets and a location reading that made no sense. Number 8. The pale shape in the net. The footage was recorded aboard a fishing vessel after the crew felt their nets tighten violently in open water. At first, they assumed it was a large school of fish. When the nets were pulled up, something pale surfaced among the lines. The figure's skin appeared gray and slick, almost shark-like in texture. But its proportions were unusual. The upper limbs extended outward, ending in elongated shapes that resembled hands rather than fins. Its lower body thrashed against the deck with force. The crew's tone shifts from excitement to alarm as they back away. The figure does not lie still like a stranded fish. It twists, turning its upper body with deliberate motion. No clear identification is made in the clip. No scientific confirmation follows. The recording ends before showing what happened next. Whatever was hauled aboard that vessel was never officially classified. Number 7. The figure behind the bars. The footage was recorded inside what appears to be a secured enclosure. Metal bars fill the frame, separating the camera from something standing upright inside. At first glance, it resembles a large reptile, but its posture is unmistakably vertical. Its upper body is broad, muscular, and scaled, with an elongated snout and rows of visible teeth. One arm reaches forward through the bars, ending in long, clawed fingers. The proportions feel unusual, more human-like than a typical crocodile. Its eyes remain fixed on the person filming. It does not thrash. It does not lunge. It simply stands there, gripping the bars, as if aware of its confinement. No signage explains what facility this is. No context is provided. The clip ends with the creature still behind the metal barrier. Whatever was recorded inside that cage has never been officially clarified. Number 6. The floating observation cage. Marine biologists had deployed a floating observation cage to study hammerhead shark migrations. Mid-morning, underwater cameras began recording unusual current disturbances. Something was approaching from open water, fast, silent. No thermal signature, only a long shadow, upright in form. When the cage was raised again, something was inside. It was not a shark, not a dolphin. A hunched humanoid figure stood within the enclosure, its skin greenish and slick, reflecting sunlight like it had just surfaced for the first time. Open gill slits lined its back. Its black eyes did not blink. Long, symmetrical arms ended in webbed fingers gripping the bars. It did not struggle, it only watched. As one biologist stepped closer, the water inside the cage began to rotate violently, as if pulled from below. The figure straightened and emitted a low, rhythmic sound, later compared to whale calls, played in reverse. Minutes later, every onboard system reset. Most recordings were lost. Only an 18-second clip filmed from shore remains. In it, the figure turns its head slowly toward land. Since that day, unexplained disappearances have been reported along that beach. Number 5. The sealed marine hatch. A diver set out to film his first underwater expedition when he noticed a circular hatch embedded in a submerged pipeline. Curiosity overruled caution. The camera captures his gloved hand twisting the rusted mechanism. The metal gives way. From the darkness inside, something shifts. A pale humanoid figure forces itself through the opening. Its skin is smooth, almost gray-white under the murky light. The mouth stretches open unnaturally wide, revealing multiple rows of sharp, uneven teeth. It doesn't swim like a fish. It lunges. The diver's camera jerks violently as the creature rushes forward, jaws extended. Bubbles flood the frame. The footage cuts mid-motion. No aftermath was recorded. Number 4. The hidden chamber of Nyköping. A sealed door. A room that was never meant to exist. In 2017, during routine renovations, workers at the small museum of Nyköping Falster uncovered a concealed chamber behind the building's walls. Inside were dusty crates, disturbing sketches, and handwritten notes from someone who appeared to know far too much. The name attached to the collection, Cornelius S.C. Rudder. Born in 1821, a physician who abandoned conventional science after traveling to Italy, where he reportedly encountered forbidden writings and undocumented beings. His path later crossed with Thomas Marilyn in London, another figure largely erased from academic record. Rudder devoted his life to documenting what he called the dark world. He cataloged it, preserved it, hid it. Today, the collection is displayed under the name Museo Obscurum. Among the exhibits, preserved vampires, alleged fey remains, and a specimen labeled Homo lupus, a 15-year-old bipedal female said to share human-compatible DNA and lupine traits, attributed to viral mutation. Reportedly, she died of starvation. The anthropologist who captured her vanished shortly after. The museum calls it history, but some display cases are never opened. Number 3. The signal beneath the USS Lancer. Off the coast of Florida, near Biscayne Bay, a Coast Guard patrol was inspecting partially submerged vessels used for naval drills. One of them, the USS Lancer, had been decommissioned in 1998, rusted, flooded, supposedly empty. A thermal drone flagged unexpected heat from the engine compartment below deck. There was no visible access point, only a shattered porthole above stagnant water. Rescuer Anderson leaned in, recording with his phone. From the darkness, something surfaced. An oval head, wet skin covered in pink nodules, black lidless eyes fixed forward. Its nostrils flared slowly, as if scenting the air. On either side of its head extended 2 long, curved appendages, thick, jointed, almost like climbing limbs. It made no sound, only bubbles rising as it hovered in silence. Then the impossible happened. The auxiliary engine, offline for decades, roared to life for 5 seconds. Communications cut instantly. Cameras failed. Anderson's phone powered down. When it rebooted, the footage was corrupted, except for one frozen frame. The creature staring through the broken glass. The deck was clear when the team regrouped. Number 2. Code T19, Port of Rotterdam. In a restricted cargo zone at the Port of Rotterdam, A crane operator reported a blockage between two floating platforms. Thermal cameras had detected movement among sealed containers, despite no authorized vessels entering that sector for 3 days. Maintenance worker Lars Verhoeven entered the flooded passage between container blocks to inspect manually. That's when he saw it. At the bottom of the rusted canal, partially submerged in shadow, crouched a massive figure. Its skin was layered with barnacles, dried algae, and calcified plates. The torso appeared human, muscular, but warped by time and salt water. Its face stared forward without blinking. One arm rested against corroded metal, beside a small dead animal, placed almost deliberately. Lars recorded in silence. The water rippled faintly between them. The creature did not breathe, did not move. A drone rising overhead captured something unseen from ground level. A painted symbol inside a nearby container. 3 curved lines descending like claws toward the sea. Seconds later, every dock gate sealed shut. A recorded message echoed, Code T-19 activated, biological maintenance suspended, full isolation in progress. Lars was found hours later, drifting near the harbor mouth, silent, unresponsive. Number 1. The silent watcher above the canopy. Deep in a mist-covered jungle, a short clip captures something that shouldn't be there. Perched high against a slender tree trunk, partially obscured by fog and dense foliage, a winged figure remains completely still. Its body appears dark and compact, clinging to the trunk with unnatural balance. One wing, large, membranous, bat-like, extends outward in a muted orange tone against the gray morning haze. There is no attack, no sudden movement, no sound beyond distant jungle ambience. The creature does not look at the camera. It doesn't react to whoever is filming from below. Instead, it seems focused on something beyond the frame, above the canopy line. Watching, waiting, the mist drifts, leaves sway slightly. The figure does not move, no aggressive display, no attempt to hide, just silent observation, from a height no ordinary animal would choose as a resting point. And then the clip ends. No flight, no descent, no explanation, only a still silhouette against the fog, frozen in quiet surveillance over the jungle below.